You are listening to He Said, She Said, with L.A. Rob, and D the VIP. Oh, yeah.
What's your name?
I am L.A. Rob.
My name is D the VIP. What?
Yeah. Today we're talking about, let's see.
Controversial movies that are about to come out sometime pretty soon.
Yeah, one that should have came out actually last year.
Yeah, and that one's Nina, which is a biopic based on the life of Nina Simone, the singer.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Zoe Saldana, she was cast in the role of Nina. And Miss Saldana, I believe she's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
she's Dominican.
There's about 3 different ethnicities in there.
Right.
I want to say Irish, Dominican, and Lebanese, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, so she has some things going on in there.
Right.
But, you know.
And on top of that, she's been in
Avatar.
Some big movies.
Yeah, she's been in Star Wars, the reboot that came out earlier. Star Trek. I always say Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Trek came out last year. She was in, what was that other movie?
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
She was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
My favorite movie of the year so far, along with The Raid 2.
Gotta see that again. Yeah, The Raid 2, man.
The Raid 2. Those are my top 2 this year. But, so now she's going to play the title character in Nina.
Okay.
And I love Zoe Saldana. I don't know that I've really seen her range as an actress. She did play in Colombiana and some other stuff. So, I mean, to me, with the Avatar and Ahura and some of the and Guardians of the Galaxy, she's kind of playing the same kind of character, just a different title movie. So, you know, that's one thing, but, you know, she seems to be cool. But I do have a problem with her playing Nina Simone.
Yeah, it seems like Zoe Saldana has gravitated towards more of the Comic-Con geek culture.
She's making blockbusters.
She's making blockbusters.
But the blockbusters aren't blockbusters because she's in them. The blockbusters are blockbusters because how can you go wrong with, you know,
somebody who was an Avatar, who was in the biggest movie
just James Cameron, who made the biggest movie before that, which was the Titanic.
Of course.
And then and so he, you know, you're not going to go wrong betting that his movie will be successful.
Right. So with that being said, this movie has undergone a lot of controversy. We're talking about Nina. Originally, Mary J. Blige was slated to play the title role, but because I guess they felt that she was her box office draw wasn't as noticeable as Zoe Saldana. They plugged Zoe Saldana in the role, and that was the spark of controversy.
Yeah.
So
I think that was a huge mistake because you have Mary J. Blige, who is a singer in her own right, a different kind of singer, but a singer. Well, but they have the same nuances because she sings about love, loss, and all that stuff too. But and she has a fan base of her own. But I think they made a huge mistake taking Mary J. Blige out of the title role and putting Zoe in. I mean, granted, it was a gamble because we've seen Mary J. Blige in smaller roles, but we haven't seen her carry a film. But I think
that kind of reminds me, kind of like, remember Bodyguard came out and
Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston. How many roles did Whitney Houston have before that?
I think that was one of her first roles.
That would have been, Mary J's Bodyguard.
But let's face it, Mary J is not kind of a universal icon in the same vein that Whitney was, because Mary J is more an R&B soul kind of person. So if you're interested in that music, versus Whitney, who's more pop, and a lot more people listen to her. So but here's the problem that I have. Zoe is beautiful. Zoe's features are very slim and fine, and she has thin lips. She has this slim nose. She has this long flowing hair. She's this pretty brown, was it paper bag brown complexion, if that. I don't know if she's quite that dark, but she has all those things. Now Nina Simone, if you don't know who she is, you want to look her up. She had a very Afrocentric look. She's a beautiful woman in her own right.
You know what? Why didn't they cast what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith. She would have been perfect for that role. Or Jasmine Guy. Well, Jasmine Guy, she's kind of
Jada
up
Pinkett
there.
Smith.
Yeah, Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pink would have been perfect for what role?
As Nina Simone.
That's worse than Zoe Saldana.
Really?
Oh, you're joking.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
well, that's pretty much what they did when they put Zoe Saldana in the role, because you have Nina Simone, who is this person who her features are Afrocentric. She has the wide nose. She has the full lips. She has the very dark skin. And those features caused her a great amount of I shouldn't say the features caused her problems as much as the people who didn't appreciate those features caused her problems. So now here's a person coming up in the 50s, and she had been ridiculed about what she looked like. She was trained as a classical pianist, which a lot of people don't know, because she got into doing the music that she was doing. But when she would play classical music, people just couldn't believe that this girl who looked like that was able to play classical music at the level. I think she went to Juilliard, if I'm not mistaken, school. So she was no joke when it came to music. But again, what she looked like was always something that people talked about, and it was a cause, or it was painful for her. And that was a lot of stuff that she wrote about, that she sang about, a lot of things that she talked about came from that. And so you can't take a person whose life was greatly affected by what they look like, and then put a person who is exactly what they wanted her to be, take her and have her play the role of Nina Simone. I mean, I think that's just an insult.
Yeah.
A huge insult.
Well, see, the thing is, I mean, first of all, we're judging a movie we haven't really seen, but I have to say, reading from what I've read about this film and how they're, especially with the director, they are just, rushing it. They're just putting it together and they're rushing it, and the way that the director was ousted, pretty much, and changes were made, and now the director is suing the production company. It's really it's a really bizarre and kind of ironic thing what's going on with this movie, because it should have came out back in 2013.
Well, I mean, I think the other part of that is the director is not just a director; she's the writer. Right. And I think I have a problem with this group of producers who have no regard for who Nina Simone was as a person, her visual appearance greatly affected her. They don't take that into consideration, so they just bully, just run rumshard over that and replace Mary J. Blige with somebody who just really visually doesn't go. And then they do the same with the director, like a female director. It's just like there's no respect.
Well, they're thinking like business people. What they're thinking is like Zoe Saldana. They probably went to IMDb and looked at Zoe Saldana's star meter, and they saw that it was higher than Mary J. Blige. So you figure we'll just go ahead and put Zoe Saldana because she might make us more money, right?
Well, here's my
thing. That's what they did, thought in theory.
That's the operating theory. But my thing is, she didn't carry any of the movies that were blockbusters. She was one of the characters. If Uhura was not in Star Trek, would that mean that the movie would not have been good?
Right, but at the same time, I mean, you look at the movie Selena, where they casted Jennifer Lopez to play, who's Puerto Rican, to play Selena, who was Mexican. And the movie, I've seen the movie. I thought Jennifer Lopez did a great job at it, and I believe before that she was a fly girl on In Living Color. So right. I don't think.
But she had done movies. Prior.
We're not at that caliber.
Not at that caliber.
No.
But here's the thing. When you took a picture of Selena and you put it next to Jennifer Lopez when she was dialed up and dressed up there was a close resemblance.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into, they, were both Hispanic girls. Now, one was Puerto Rican, the other one was Mexican. But at the end of the day, they were both Hispanic girls. That's not the case. Here you had Nina Simone, who's everything about her is Afrocentric, and then you have Zoe Saldana,
right.
And it's you can't see that. Like I cannot see that at all.
I mean, honestly, Zoe Saldana. I mean, I didn't even know she was. I mean, aside from her name, her last name, I wouldn't have really got that she wasn't. That she didn't have any bit of black or African American or whatever in her. So I mean, Zoe, I just don't think. See, my thing with Zoe, maybe it's me because she's in like every movie. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like over her.
I didn't even get started on her. Like, for me, I will say this. I expect great things from her at some point in the future. I think she's been very smart, or she's been very lucky. I don't know quite which one. Or she has a hell of a manager.
No, she has a high work ethic.
She managed to get herself in some of the best movies that have come out. But she's only a minor player in those movies, and I think. I don't think that this, I don't see her winning an Oscar doing this. And it's like, even like with Halle Berry, when she played Dorothy Dandridge, you could see that. Because Halle, if you take a picture of Dorothy Dandridge and you put a picture of Halle Berry up, the resemblance was there. It was uncanny almost. So you can see that. You can't, I'm hearing that she had to paint her face so that she was darker. I don't know if they used a prosthetic, nose to broaden her nose and lips and stuff like that. But to go through those extremes to make her look like something that she's not, when you could easily just cast a person who does, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I mean, as a director, I understand. I know the right thing. Like as far as independent film, you can go with an unknown and get a spectacular performance. But when you go into the people who are painting for your movie, it when they're expecting some kind of financial turnaround, it puts their minds at ease when they got a bankable star and as their lead. I'm not saying it's right, but that's just what they're thinking.
Here's my thing. Get a bankable star that looks like the one you're trying to portray. Or you put that movie on the shelf until one develops. Because here's the thing. When you look at the James Brown film, they got that guy is relatively new. Now he's done double duty, but double duty because he was also the title character in 42, which was a Jackie Robinson story. So he's played two African American characters, but he looks like he's the same complexion. He has a resemblance to those people that he's playing. This is like you said, this is Jada Pinkett playing.
You're not gonna let that go, are you?
No, I'm not gonna let that go. This is like Jada Pinkett playing somebody who comes from Uganda.
Yes.
Back in 500 BC or whatever. So it's just it's crazy.
It's a very difficult role to cast, and it seems like they were kind of in a bit of a rush to get this film made, and then even after the fact, they're kind of there's just a lot of problems with this particular production.
I just think that the producers of this film are full of shit. And I think that they are some of the worst producers ever. That's what it seems to be to me. Because there's no way in heck you would pursue, first of all, you buy the film from the writer, and then I guess you negotiated a deal to also direct the film. And you say, okay, yeah, we'll let you do that. And then you go behind her back and you totally change the film, even though you signed a contract to say that you're not going to do that. And my thing is, would that have happened had it been Steven Spielberg, had it been Michael Bay, had it been J.J. Abrams, or even Brewer, the guy who did was it Hustle and Flow, his first movie.
Well, Catherine Bigelow. Again, she was the ex of James Cameron, so
that's a whole lot different. She's the ex of James Cameron. She had a stronger and a longer history to fall back on. But and then the other part was, I think she was also one of the producers, so it was it's a little different. I just, I'm reading the list of producers, and then I see Jimmy Iovine, and quite honestly, when I saw his name, I said, okay, that makes sense. Because, if you listen to music and you follow his business ethics with regard to rap music, I can see how this can happen with his foray into movies. So I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean, stories of producers taking movies and doing different things. I mean, I've heard stuff about the Weinsteins. I've heard, producers, typically are just want to just get it done. They don't care about the art. They care about the commerce.
Well, I say business. Don't do a Nina Simone film,
the art
because
is secondary
at the end of the day.
Well,
this may not sell anyway, because it's a few people who know about her.
Right.
So that's a select audience in and of itself. And then they're trying to base the movie around some kind of relationship with the manager. And I just think that they are really disrespecting Nina Simone on so many levels.
Well, and the director, Cynthia Mort, look at her credits. She got on basically as a writer, and she directed her last feature television show in 2011. So with this film coming out, and the potential for it to bomb at the box office, that might be detrimental to her career.
Well, I think what's going to be maybe detrimental is a lawsuit against the producers and stuff like that. They may be detrimental. But, I think I would be okay with my career going down the tube if it was based on decisions that I made. Unfortunately for her, this movie is based from her. This is going to be based on other people's decisions, and obviously other people who don't have any African American staff or any African American in a position I don't want to say to counsel them,
Right.
but that they actually interact with on a daily basis, so somebody can pull their coattail and tell them this is not a good look at all.
Right. It's a very crazy situation, and according to Wikipedia, this movie right now is in post-production.
Well, I think it's going to go straight to
with
video.
no real release date.
Yeah, I think this is
Video
either going to be
video on
shelved
demand,
or it's going to go straight to
something like
video.
that.
Because I know I for one refuse to buy a ticket. That's not happening.
Right.
If I'm at somebody's house and they happen to be playing it,
Something this controversial, when you consider all the marketing that you would have to do to generate
interest.
Interest in this movie. I don't know. That's a big chunk of the budget to bet on something like that. I wouldn't. If I had the money, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no. This was a poor choice.
Yeah.
They made it a poorer choice with the selections in terms of casting that they've made. So I think that ship is going to sink.
Well,
and if it does swim, it will not be on my dollar because I will not buy anything.
Well, I agree, and like I say, I mean, we haven't seen the movie, but I agree with you.
I think I plan to see it. I'm not interested in seeing.
Yeah.
But speaking of controversy, there's
another
Exodus
one. Oh my goodness.
movie.
Yeah, this thing, like, I remember we were watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and the trailer for the movie Exodus played before the movie, and it looked amazing. And it's directed by Ridley Scott, director of Alien, director of Blade Runner, director of Gladiator. He's a phenomenal, incredible director. So, the trailer sold me. But I was kind of I was really disturbed, and to find out that most of the roles in this movie Exodus are specifically the important roles. The main character is Moses. Moses is being played by Christian Bale. Okay, I believe one of the main princess is being played by Sigourney Weaver. Okay.
And she's supposed to be Egyptian, correct?
Yes. And all the thieves and the slaves are all played by people of African descent. Now, with that, I understand that's a controversy, but you also have to take notice that the original Ten Commandments had a lot of the main players played by white.
But that was, you know what?
So,
and I'm glad that you said that, because what that says to me is that the Ten Commandments originally came out in the 50s.
Yes.
So that says to me that Hollywood has not progressed beyond the 50s. Because if you have a film that was created in the 1950s based on the same story, set in Africa, and by all accounts, there's supposed to be some people of color as some of the main characters. So you have that film made in the 1950s, and it's all of the characters, period, are Caucasian. And then you fast forward to 2014, and you have a similar film made, and the 4 main characters are all Caucasian. That's sad. Yeah. That's a sad state of affairs, because what that says to me is we really haven't progressed much.
Well, Hollywood is notoriously I mean, if you look at the statistics as the people who are hired on sets and who call the shots, they're overwhelmingly white. White men specifically, maybe of Jewish descent, probably, but in the days of Cecil B. DeMille, who directed the original Ten Commandments, that was the days of Hollywood royalty, Hollywood's heyday, its glamour. And like I said, right now, Christian Bale, he's a well-respected actor in his own right. But I just find it kind of disturbing that Mr. Ridley Scott didn't, at least try to fight for.
Well, I thought that Christian Bale was his choice. So he
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm surprised. No. He specifically casted him and wanted him in this movie.
And here's my thing. I'll give you that. Like, Christian Bale is a phenomenal actor. I think once he grows the hair and the beard and the whole nine, he's going to make a phenomenal Moses. But you cannot sell Sigourney Weaver as Egyptian. This is getting back to Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra.
I've seen Sigourney Weaver in person. She is the whitest person.
She's very pale. So,
she is very, very pale.
This is going to be, how are you, going to sell me Sigourney Weaver as Egyptian? I mean, so again, this is like when they had Elizabeth Taylor play Cleopatra. So we haven't progressed at all. And then, okay, if you ram Sigourney Weaver down my throat as an Egyptian queen because she's a name, then who are the other two people? Why can't they have been somebody of color in either of those two roles? It's a little tired.
Well, you have to also appreciate that it's probably, the people, the money people, the people who are financing the film, is probably what they're most comfortable with is, they believe that maybe if we have these actors, it would be a better look for them. Because if they're putting their money up on this, onto this picture, they feel that they have the right to make decisions. Because right now, movies are not made by artists; they're made by corporations now, and they're acting as like corporations, and they're reading the balance sheets and the metrics and the statistics, and they're making creative decisions based off of this data. Is it? I don't think it's right. Of course not. But this is nothing new for the entertainment business, which is always considered itself a business.
I think art loses its soul. It is really selling its soul to the devil when you have a situation where you're just looking at a bottom line so much so that you're miscasting. You're just basically trying to, it's like having Tom Cruise play Moses because he's a bigger draw than Christian Bale. Why couldn't, if that was the case, why don't you get Will Smith to play one of the main characters in there? Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, I think it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and VIP status. VIP. Gotta love technology.
You do. You really do.
VIP being page. So I guess that means we've got to wrap up.
All right.
Well, basically what we're saying here, Exodus. It had a very nice trailer. I mean,
it looks like it's going to be a great movie.
I mean, I'm sure the special effects will be amazing.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed in, these directors who don't take the time to be conscientious when it comes to casting, and particularly when it comes to casting people of color. If J.J. Abrams can do it, and I will give him credit, he's been very, very good about having
I am
people of
very
color.
I'm
a huge
what J.J. is doing with Star Wars.
I'm a huge fan of him as a director and as a producer, simply because I think he makes a conscientious effort to make sure that people of color are represented in the films that he does. And guess what? His bottom line doesn't suffer for it. Yeah. He does extremely well. So I think it can be done. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's been successful movies. Look at Ray. Ray was a successful biopic.
Yes.
At the time that it was done, Jamie Foxx had only done the Jamie Foxx show. Everybody saw him as a comedian. Nobody really saw him as somebody who can carry, one, a movie, and two, be somebody serious.
Right.
He had done Any Given Sunday, I believe.
Right.
But even at that, they couldn't see him playing, going to the depths that he would need to go to become Ray, and he did it. And he did an excellent job, Oscar worthy.
So yeah, I just wish, if anybody important is listening to this podcast, just consider, when you're casting, a role where the main character is black or a person of color, consider casting somebody
who
of
is
color
black,
who is,
or a person of
it's not a bad thing. It's okay.
It's okay. And I think that goes for your production teams and things like that, because I think when you don't have people of color represented and your world doesn't include them, then you're not having the conversation. So you don't know that, no, it's wrong and it's offensive to me personally for you to have Zoe Saldana play Nina Simone. Nothing again against Zoe Saldana, but I'm offended.
So on that note, this is L.A. Rob
and be the VIP.
Signing off. Deuces.
So look, to follow us, you can go to iTunes, tune in, you can like us on Facebook at He Said, She Said, L.A. Rob, and Be the VIP. There's a lot of He Said, She Said out there, so make sure it says L.A. Rob and Be the VIP. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at L.A. Rob and Be the VIP. And if you want to follow L.A. Rob's shit, stuff, you can go to Mel Hondo, MALEHONDO at YouTube. Did I say everything?
You did?
Okay.
No, wait, you missed one.
What?
Lord Tyree, LORDTYRE. That one is one of my older.
And I'm not calling him Lord anything. So that's probably why I messed up.
At least not on mic.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Or off mic either.